Hi there, welcome to another YouTube video, and today we're doing 7 mistakes single men make. All right, if you're here and you're a lady, even if you're a guy, if you have not watched our previous video titled 7 mistakes single women make, you need to go and watch it. But this one is for the men. 7 mistakes single guys or single men make. All right. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go and subscribe right now, All right. So 7 mistakes single men make. Number 1, choosing beauty over character. Choosing beauty over character. I understand that men are naturally moved by what they see. The way men were created, men first are attracted by beauty. They fall in love first with beauty, all right? But however, you need to train yourself to become a bit more discerning. You need to train yourself to look beyond the physical and also look at the character. Because at the end of the day, the fulfillment and happiness you will get from that relationship or marriage will not be dependent on just looks alone. It will be dependent more on the person's character. All right? I know men are moved by what they see. I usually joke and say the first time Adam met a human being, it was a naked woman that he saw. So since that time, men have been moved by what they see. They are always attracted to a woman's physique. All right? That's not a bad thing. However, that can't be the main basis for picking somebody you want to marry. All right, that can't be the main basis. You have to look beyond the physical and look at the person's character. All right, there's a scripture I want us to read, Proverbs 31 verse 30. It said, favor is deceitful. Favor means charm, okay? It said, so you can say charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. It said, but a woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Did you get that? It said charm is deceitful. Charm can be faked, can be put on. They said beauty, when the real chips are down, beauty is vain. It doesn't matter much. That's what they mean. But they said the woman that fears the Lord, they were trying to talk about her character, that the woman that has a godly character or a good character, she's the one that should be praised. So as a man, you need to learn and train yourself on how to look beyond the physical. Look beyond the physical and look out for the character. Interestingly, even though most men fall in love with what they see, because of when I was getting married, it was not the case for me at all. Because I was a bit knowledgeable about relationships, and so I knew what I was looking for. I knew that there were a lot of beautiful women. There's no scarcity of beautiful women. There's only a scarcity of virtuous women. The Bible actually says, a virtuous woman who can find. It's her price is far above rubies. So there's no problem with beautiful women. There are beautiful women everywhere. Where there's scarcity is in virtuous women. So I knew what I was looking for. I knew beauty was not enough. I had seen many beautiful ladies, that I could not even stand. So I knew that was not the issue. So the first time I met my wife, the place was dark. So a few of my classmates were together. We went to her house together. We had a meeting on her street. So we went to her house after the meeting and it was already dark. And there was no light outside the house when she came out. So I could barely see her physical, features. However, I could hear her talk because she was talking to us. And I knew I had to meet her again because she was very intelligent and the way she was talking, she had a sense of humor and things like that. So I knew I was interested in meeting her again. And that's how I kept in touch. So I didn't even see her physically. But I knew that there's more to a happy marriage or a happy relationship than just a person's looks. And all men need to learn that. All men need to learn that you need to look beyond the physical appearance. Physical appearance is usually or often overrated. Everything around us is sold based on physical attraction. They sell cars with beautiful women. They sell houses with beautiful women. They use the power of attraction or the power of beauty to woo people. However, it is highly overrated because at the end of the day, it's not the beauty that will keep a marriage. Most older couples will tell you, if you ask older couples, if you ask older couples why they are successful in their marriages, they will hardly say it's beauty. You will hardly see somebody married for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, saying that, the reason why our marriage is working is because my wife is beautiful or my husband is handsome. No, it's usually about character. It's usually about character. You see, they've learned by living together for so long and living happily, they've learned that even though beauty is important, but beauty is not the main thing. So you will see them laying emphasis on qualities like kindness. Oh, she's very kind. She's very caring. She's intelligent. She stimulates me mentally. Meekness. Meekness, can I correct her easily? If I'm talking to her, does she listen? Is she quick to change, or is she defensive? Peaceful. Is she peaceful? Because most men don't know some of the important needs. As a man, you need to know the important needs for you in a relationship. One of your most important needs is peace of mind. Solomon is my relationship professor. He has, if there's anything more than a PhD, Solomon had that because he surveyed 1,000 women. All right, so Solomon wrote in the Bible that when you live in the same house with a troublesome woman, that the man will run to the roof or run to the wilderness. It's just showing that men love peace of mind. At that time, the beauty won't matter. It's the qualities that really matter. So things like peace of mind, other qualities like that, whatever you think are really important. So find those things out. Know yourself. Know yourself. You can't build just on looks. All right? You can't build on looks. Most of the thing you call beauty is overrated. I mean, it's programmed. It's programmed into your mind because you've watched a lot of movies, you've seen it in magazines, so you have built up that expectation of what you think beauty is. But at the end of the day, that woman's looks will hardly be a problem. In fact, I don't know if I've ever even heard a marriage that broke because somebody said my wife is not fine. I don't think I've ever heard that. That's always the reason I'm not marrying this one again is that she's not fine. I've not heard that. However, I've heard that she's troublesome. I heard that I can't trust her. I've heard a lot of other things. I've not heard she's not beautiful. So what am I saying? Pay attention to what really matters, all right? Pay attention to what really matters. Don't just choose because of beauty. Beauty is vain. It's fleeting. It can disappear. But a woman that fears the Lord, that has character. I can't count the amount of times guys have reached out to me and said, oh, Pastor K, help me. My wife doesn't listen. My wife is troublesome. My wife is this, my wife is that. They are always pointing to character flaws. And I'm wondering, so why did you marry? These things were obvious and evident before. So why did you go ahead to marry? So I tell the young guys that are not married yet, look out for the character. That's what will matter. Even though at the beginning it doesn't look important. At the beginning, you are first attracted by looks. You need to look deeper to focus on the person's character. All right, what are the wisdom points for this particular one? Number one, remember the importance of character. So you constantly need to remind yourself, that's what I'm trying to say, remind yourself of how important it is, how people's character is important. So remind yourself of the times when you've met somebody that was very handsome or very beautiful, but you couldn't stand their character. That their character was so bad, you didn't even want to know them, you didn't want to hang out with them. I've had those experiences loads of times. Meet a very pretty girl, nice girl, and once you start talking to her, you see that her character is so bad, that you can't even stand her. You can't even have any kind of conversation with her. Or she's not, intellectually stimulating enough. So, I'm just trying to say, remember how that, outward beauty doesn't always, mean inward beauty. You need to remind yourself so that whenever you see another beautiful person, you don't just jump away and fall in love, without first knowing the person. All right? That's number one. Number two, make a list of qualities you consider to be attractive. You need to know. Many men have never thought about it. They've never researched it. Make a list of qualities you believe is important to you. Qualities you find attractive. For me, it was very easy. Number one, I wanted a strong woman. So I'd never wanted a woman that I needed to do everything for. I'd never wanted that. I wanted a strong woman. I wanted a woman that could be up and going, that could do things, that could really help the things I wanted to achieve in my life. So I wanted a strong woman. I didn't want a woman that would just sit down, just make her nails and can't do any work, that I need to feed her. I was not like that. So when I met my wife then, she was already she was doing her master's in school then, and she was also learning other things by the side. She learned how to bake, learned how to do decorations in the halls. She was that kind of person that was always doing things. She didn't just sit down idly. So for me, that was important. It's something I liked. Another thing I liked, for instance, was intelligence. I'm highly stimulated mentally. I don't care how beautiful you look. I'll get bored quickly if you're not stimulating me mentally. So I'm just saying some of my own qualities. So you need to find out what are the qualities that you consider attractive outside of physical looks. All right? What are the qualities you find attractive? Make a list of them. Make a list of them. It will help you be able to make a decision easier when you meet somebody. All right? Beautiful. All right. Welcome to point number 2. Remember, this video is titled 7 Mistakes Single Men Make. 7 common mistakes single men make. All right? Number 2, not learning about relationships. not learning about relationships. This is a very common one. Most guys somehow just feel that, hey, I don't need to learn about marriage. All I need to learn about is how to make money. When I have money, I will have women, I will have marriage, and they kind of slack off in terms of learning about relationships. And that is a big mistake. Men naturally gravitate towards work or recreational activities. That's where you see men get emotional. When we usually say women are emotional, men are not emotional, what we're trying to say is that men are not usually emotional as regards relationship, but men are emotional beings also. So they usually get emotional when it comes to their work or recreational activities. So you see men at work or, something that has to do with position or politics, you see their emotions coming out, their veins coming out of their neck, they're arguing and they're hustling and they're interested in business seminars, career development seminars. You see guys there. But when you have singles meetings or marriage seminars, you have more women there. So men don't even see the need. So men don't even see the need of watching this video. I even know some of you watching is your wife or girlfriend that sent you this video. So men are like that. They just think it's not important. They gravitate towards work or recreational activities. You see men in stadiums. When you see Man City, beating Arsenal in the stadium is full of men. Some people are wondering why I'm having Arsenal. Okay. So the stadium is full of men. Now, there are few women in the stadiums, but there are more men. Men gravitate towards work and sports, recreational activities. Recreational activities. We love cars. We love things like that. However, you need to now consciously start to learn about relationships, because to succeed in marriage, it cannot be by chance. All right? Romantic relationships will play a major role in your long-term happiness. I can't say this enough. I can't emphasize this enough for guys. Guys, listen to me. Romantic relationships will play a major role in your long-term happiness. How you run your marriage. Your marriage will matter at the end of the day. It might not seem so now. I know right now you might think all you need to do is get it right in your job or get it right in making money in your business, your career. But I'm telling you, with the benefit of hindsight now, I'm telling you, look, marriage will play a major role in your long-term fulfillment. So don't rush and say you don't need to learn about marriage, you just want to learn about business. Don't make that mistake. I can never forget the first millionaire God used me to mentor. And this was many years ago, many years ago. I think about 15 to 18 years ago. So I'm talking a really long time, okay? Because part of my dreams earlier in life was to raise at least 100 millionaires, and one day they can all give me 1 million and I'm just joking, all right? But part of my dream was to raise 100 millionaires. So this was many years ago. So there's this young guy, he started a business, found his gift. I began to mentor him. In fact, he found his gift from a message I preached. So he began to pursue the gift, and I began to mentor him, and he became wealthy. As in, this guy was traveling all over the world, even when I had never seen, an airport before. This guy was rich, blessed. So I also wanted to start mentoring. When he became of age, I wanted to start mentoring him as regards family life and relationship, But he kept telling me that, Pastor K, I don't need to learn about marriage. Whenever you are doing the business meetings, let me know. Whenever you want to mentor me in business, let me know. But I don't want to hear about, the marriage thing. He doesn't really need it. And that's what he said. And some years after, by the time I met him again after a while, he had like 2 bad marriages. 2. He had like 2 bad marriages. And I'm not surprised because he didn't invest in that area. He invested in business and he was doing well in business. He was doing well in business, but he didn't do well in marriage. And the reason is simple. Where you invest is where you harvest. Where you invest is where you harvest. So he didn't do well in marriage because he didn't invest there. All right? So you need to remember that, you must learn about relationship. All right? Your happiness will be tied to it. Let me read the scripture to you. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. It's, and the Lord God said, it's not good for the man to be alone. God said it's not good for you as a man to be alone. That means there's a part of you that will need that connection with another human being, especially in the area of marriage. There's a part of you, you might not think so now, but I'm telling you, if God himself said it's not good for you to be alone. It wasn't Adam that prayed for a wife. It was God that said, look, you're not going to be your best if you don't connect with another human being. And he said, I'll bring him a helpmate. And he brought the woman. All right? So learn about relationships, okay? Don't make that mistake. Learn about relationships. Men and women are very different. Men and women are so different. We're not the same. And this is what causes a lot of challenges in marriage, because the man wants to love the woman as if, she's a man, and the woman wants to love the man as if he's a woman, and that causes problems. Men and women are very different. So there's no way you can actually succeed in a marital relationship without learning There's no way you can. You can't do this by chance. You can't gamble into this. You can't do this by chance. You have to learn. You have to be deliberate to succeed in your marriage, and you do it by learning. You have to consciously learn that what do women need? What do men need? I told people when I'm speaking to men, I tell them the first man did not fail at the place of work. The first man failed at the place of family. The first man, Adam, did not fail at the place of work. Everything was fine in the garden. He was cutting the grass, keeping the garden well. Where he failed was that he didn't tend the garden of his wife. He tended the physical garden. He didn't tend his wife. That's why we are called husbands. Husband is from husbandman. The husbandman tends. Adam was so focused in keeping the physical garden, he didn't keep his emotional garden, which was his wife. And that's where he failed. All right? And most men are making the same mistake today. They are hustling to succeed at work, but they are neglecting again. Same mistake Adam made. They are neglecting the family. And it's still causing the same challenges, a curse upon the work of the man's hands. Everywhere, if you check it, the way to reverse the curse is to succeed where Adam failed. Adam failed at marriage, succeeded at work, you need to reverse it. You need to also go and succeed in family. That will now bless your work. Don't forget, when Adam failed, God cursed the ground. So he started the hustle. If you want to reverse it, just bless your wife. Love your wife genuinely, and you will see the change. All right? You will see the change. So don't make that mistake of not learning. Very important. All right? Let me do another scripture to you. Proverbs 18:22. It says, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. So when Adam failed in marriage, there was a curse on the ground. They said, when you find a good wife and treat her right, there will be favor upon your ground. Do you understand? So you literally reverse the curse. You see that in Malachi, God was not receiving their offering. Why? Because of how they treated their wife. You see it in Malachi chapter 2. You also see it in 1 Peter 3. God said, the way you treat your wife will tell whether I will answer your prayers or not. It's all there in Scripture. We reverse the curse that Adam brought, by succeeding where he failed. And you will live a more fulfilled and, a happier life if you can do that. You will be more fulfilled, if you have a good marriage. So men don't notice that usually, but I'm telling you for free. If you marry right and love your wife right, okay? Listen, if you marry right and love your wife right, you will definitely succeed and you live a fulfilled life. I tell people all the time, there's nothing I've agreed with my wife about that we've not received. Nothing. Everything we agree that we want to achieve. The moment we agree and continue to agree, it always comes to pass. All right, what are the wisdom points? Wisdom points for this one. Number one, start learning about relationships. Start learning about relationships. Guys, make up your mind from today. You might not be in the mood. You might not feel like, I'm not talking about what you feel like doing. I'm saying what you have to do, whether you feel like or not. Start being a bit interested in relationship issues. All right, attend seminars. Watch videos like this. Follow my pages. Subscribe to my channel. Buy books. Learn. Invest in knowledge. Start learning about relationships. Start learning about relationships. Don't say it's just a woman thing. Don't say I don't need to read a book. Don't talk like that. Start learning about relationships. Watch videos and buy books. Start learning about relationships. You'll be happy to do it. You also have daughters. Don't forget, you'll be happy to do it. You will need to counsel them and help them. Number two, wisdom point. Get a mentor. Get a mentor in the area of marriage and relationship. That means either you get somebody that's a marriage coach to mentor you from time to time, or you listen to people that speak about it a lot. But get a mentor. That way, that person just upgrades your knowledge and inspires you. Men are moved more by what they see than by what they hear. So you have pictures of role models that are doing marriage right that will inspire you to also do better as regards relationship. Then number three, pay attention to all the ladies around you. One of the easy ways to learn about women, is to pay attention. So you don't have to wait till you are in a relationship or when you are married. Start learning now from the ladies around you. So your sisters, your mother, your ladies around you. Start to pay attention to how they think. Start to pay attention to how they speak. There's a lot to learn. There's a world of knowledge out there just by watching women. When you go to the office, you work, pay attention to how women react to things, how they process things. Start to pay attention now. It will make you a better man by the time you get married, so that you won't have to use your partner to do all the learning. You'd have at least learned some things before you marry. All right? Welcome to point number 3 of this powerful video titled 7 Mistakes Single Men Make. Don't forget, if you have not watched the one for women, go watch it, 7 Mistakes Single Women Make. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you do it today. All right, number 3, 7 mistakes single men make. Number 3 is not managing your sexuality or their sexuality. Not managing your sexuality. It's a common mistake single men make. Single men kind of feel that they don't need, to manage themselves. Statistically, we know that men have a stronger sexual drive than women. Now, it doesn't mean that women don't enjoy sex. It doesn't mean that women don't want sex. However, men have a more aggressive and stronger drive because of the hormones that flow in men is called testosterone. So it's generally more aggressive, especially sexually speaking. All right? So men generally have a stronger sex drive. However, that is not an excuse not to manage it. Self-control is very important. Self-control is very important. No matter how strong your sex drive is, you have the capacity to manage it, and you have to manage it. Just because you can sleep around doesn't mean you should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you need to manage your sexuality, all right? Things like celibacy and chastity is not only for women. Men generally flaunt themselves, believing that, it's women that should keep themselves, it's women that should have, chastity and all that. No, it's not for women alone. It is also for men. Men need to learn to manage their sexuality. A lot of men have hurt people they love or have lost things that they love because they couldn't manage their sexuality. I'm telling you something you must manage now. If you check history, both Bible history and even current history, you will see so many men that have lost either families or lost careers, lost their positions because they couldn't manage their sexuality. So it's a big mistake to think that because I'm a single guy, it doesn't matter. No, you are going to eventually hurt yourself and hurt the people that you love. You must manage your sexuality. Some men focus on conquering the world when they have not even conquered themselves. Some men focus on conquering the whole world and they've not conquered themselves. You need to learn how to manage your sexuality. I can never forget, some time ago, a young man called me in tears that he just contracted HIV, And I said, how do you know? He said he just did a test. I said, why did you do a test? He said, for many years he has been celibate, for many years. And he said, just some months ago, before that call, like 1 or 2 months before that call, that he had sex with someone, just once. And later he found out that person was infected and he tested himself some months after and he was positive. One encounter, the risk is too much. So you see, abstinence is not just for women. Abstinence is not just a fairy tale. It's not just something we're saying. It is very important. It protects you, all right? Don't think because you're single you can sleep around with anybody. Casual sex is never casual at the end of the day, all right? Let me say it this way. Casual sex always has casualties. Casual sex always has casualties. All right, so you need to understand that. So manage yourself, manage your sexuality. I understand your sex drive is strong. However, it can be contained. It can be contained. Very important. So let me read the scripture to you. Proverbs 31 verse 3. Proverbs 31 verse 3. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Did you see that? He said, give not your strength unto women. He said, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. What are they saying here? They're saying, look, that's not the way to go. Don't think because you can, that means you should. No, just because you can doesn't mean you should. You will have many opportunities to mess up, but I'm telling you, don't take it. Don't take it. Mastering and managing your sexuality is one of the keys to succeeding and lasting. All right? Very important. So self-control is important, and you must be able to, give yourself to it. All right? Wisdom points. Number 1, make a list of reasons why you need self-control. All right? Make a list of, because it's important you process these thoughts and think, why do I need to manage myself? I mean, which stories can I reflect on that showed people that were great and lost their position? I can go on and on. There are many stories. From Bible days, many people that lost great opportunities because of sex, even right to current times. We've seen presidents that have lost their position because of sex. We've seen top business executives that have lost their position because of sex, and so on and so on and so on. I usually share this story. Whenever I teach this to young men, some people tell me, but I know so-and-so that is sleeping around and is succeeding. I know so-and-so that is sleeping around that is succeeding. You see, you can't judge a movie by the middle of the story. You need to allow those movies to end and see how the end is. It's never pleasant. It's never pleasant, all right? I can't count the amount of married men that by the time they die, we find out they had many children. And remember, all these children are growing up in homes without their fathers present. I remember one very popular story of somebody that was a top executive, in fact, the CEO of the largest fast food chain in the world, largest in the world. You know, this guy was earning millions of dollars every month. Millions of dollars every month. He's the CEO of the largest fast food company in the world. And guess how he lost his job? He had sex with a staff of the company. I'm sure a sales girl or somebody like that. And in fact, it wasn't rape, it was consensual. Both of them were not married because he was divorced at the time, the lady was not married. So there was nothing morally, in quote, wrong with it. But officially, in their office structure, a senior staff is not supposed to have that kind of a sexual relationship with a junior staff. So he had to resign. I mean, because of sex. He lost a job where he was earning about $3 million or thereabout monthly, dollars monthly. You see, so that lack of self-control, you think it's cheap. It's not cheap. Casual sex always has casualties. All right? So take note of that. So make a list of reasons why you need self-control. This is one of them. Number two, start to build your character and determination. Start to build your character. The best way to build your character is to grow spiritually. If you're a born-again Christian, for instance, you have to grow spiritually. That's the best way to build your character and determination and your strength, your capacity to overcome. So start to build your character and determination. Start now. Start now in prayer, in studying of the word, in keeping your mind clean. All right, those of you that have not watched my video, I did a video, What Nobody Tells You About Sex. So it will be on my YouTube there somewhere. Go and search for it and watch it. It will also help you. Then point number 3, wisdom points. Always put clear boundaries in place. So put boundaries in place. All right, if you know you shouldn't be in some certain places or be close to some certain people, start to put boundaries in place. All right, if you know you shouldn't be visiting people in dark places, you know some relationships that are dangerous or tempting for you, start to put your boundaries in place, all right? Because boundaries will save you, all right? Very important. Thank you. Next point.